Tama. Oh yeah, hey Tama.
Good morning, football fans. My name is Patrick Seals, and welcome to the Week 5 edition of the SEC Football Runback, man. We had a couple of football games, 6 to be exactly, to talk about this Sunday morning, man. College football was just such a tremendous joy last night, man. I fell asleep happy. You know what I'm talking about? I fell asleep real happy yesterday, man, because Georgia's remaining undefeated. There's a lot of close games yesterday. I thought Alabama was going to lose. They ended up pulling it off. Oklahoma beat Texas. It's a good day for college football yesterday. Let's go ahead and jump right into the shenanigans. So first up, we have an SEC East matchup with the 20th ranked University of Kentucky Wildcats taking on the number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs out of Athens, Georgia. And guess what? The Georgia Bulldogs finally played a complete game of football. Carson Beck, he threw an interception, but he was lights out last night. Let's see. We had 51 points to Kentucky's 13 points. Carson Beck had 28 completions for 35 attempts. He had 389 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Brock Bowers had 7 receptions for 132 yards receiving and a touchdown. This was the most complete game of the season for the Georgia Bulldogs and for Carson Beck. Carson Beck was out there balling yesterday. I'm talking about he was out there hitting people in wide open spaces and tight coverage. He looked like a young Joe Burrow. I'm gonna be honest. He reminded me of Joe Burrow when he played for LSU that 1 year in 2019. Carson Beck, boy, you are letting it rip and letting it fly, man. I feel sorry for anybody who stands in our way now because we have our quarterback. Man, and that's right. Stat that a lot of people don't really been paying attention to. The Georgia Bulldogs have the most passing yards out of the Georgia Bulldogs history since 1994. That's right. The Georgia Bulldogs are playing lights out through the air, man. Everybody's been complaining. We haven't been playing a complete game. We haven't been playing to our best advantages and to our full strengths. What you got to say now? What the haters got to say now? Georgia's put up 51 points on Kentucky, who was undefeated. They came into this game undefeated for some reason. Yeah, right. They don't stand a chance against the mighty Georgia Bulldogs. And they went home with an L. Let's move on. We got an SEC West matchup. We got LSU Tigers taking on the Missouri, whatever their mascot is, where LSU won 49-39. This is a game right here. I'll be honest. I thought Missouri was going to give it to LSU. This right here was a game. Jaden McDaniels had 15 completions for 21 attempts. He had 259 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Logan Diggs had 24 carries for 134 yards rushing. He had 5.6 yards a carry. He was averaging, and he had a touchdown. Malik Neighbors had 6 receptions for 116 yards pass or receiving and a touchdown. LSU Tigers, y'all had to come back and really put up some points against Missouri, man, because I thought y'all was going to lose against Missouri, man. Missouri, they are looking like a formidable team out there, man. They look like they have fully acclimated themselves to the SEC, and they know how to play SEC football now because every game that they come up against, it is a dogfight. Missouri, you almost won this game against LSU. I'm be honest, LSU, they almost folded real fast. Missouri got up to a hot start, and LSU had to figure out a way to stop it, man. This is a good game to watch out of SEC West. No, this isn't an SEC West matchup because Missouri's in the East. Next up, we got West Michigan taking on Mississippi State, where Mississippi State won 41-28. They had 440 total yards balling of offense. They had 440 total yards of offense. Will Rogers had 16 completions for 22 attempts. He only had 189 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Mississippi State didn't really play anybody this week, but they still gave up 28 points to an unranked team that nobody's ever heard of. Mississippi State, that's not good, man. You got to play LSU and Auburn and Alabama. Y'all giving up 28 points to an unranked team? I wonder what these other teams gonna do to y'all when y'all finally play them. Alabama took on Texas A&M. Alabama just barely, you see that? Just barely won 26-20. Jalen Milroe, he has finally put it all together. He has 21 completions for 33 attempts. He had 321 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Jermaine Burton, name sounds very familiar. He had 9 receptions for 197 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Alabama's defense had 5 sacks in total against Texas A&M, whatever the Aggies. That's what it is, Texas A&M Aggies. Hey, I thought Texas A&M was about to give it to Bama, man. I text my partner Bama, hey man, you nervous? I know you're nervous. Because at one point, Texas A&M was winning. They was winning, yeah. And then Texas A&M just let it slip. And they let Jalen Milroe get back in this game and just torch them, man. Jalen Milroe, he was benched. I want to say week 3 it was, he was benched. And now, ever since he's came back, He's been playing lights out football, man. He's been balling. He's been taking more precious care of the ball. He's getting sacked more. But that dude is a brick house, man. I feel sorry for anybody, LSU, Auburn, all those things that got to play Alabama, man, because that dude, he is kind of scary. I'm going to be honest. All right. We got Vanderbilt taking on Florida. Well, Florida won 38-14. It's kind of a blowout. Montreal Johnson Jr. had 18 carries for 135 yards rushing. He had 7.5 yards rushing. He was averaging. And a touchdown. Graham Mertz had 30 completions for 36 attempts. He had 254 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He only had 6 incompletions, man. This dude was balling on the day, man. Arlington, last name, had 7 receptions for 99 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Florida completely blew out Vanderbilt, man. This game didn't stand a chance. Vanderbilt continues to remain the bottom dwellers of the SEC East. And Florida, they didn't start the season out too strong, but look like they're coming along. It's going to make this Halloween Florida-Georgia matchup a very, very interesting affair. I do expect Georgia to completely knock the dog crap out of them, but we shall see. And of course, Florida is our biggest rival. We will be seeing them in the largest cocktail party around Halloween after my birthday sometime. You know what I'm talking about? So we're going to be looking forward to see the Florida Gators get mud rolled. We're going to make some gator tails out the Gators and serve for barbecue. All right, last game of the week. We got the Arkansas Razorbacks taking on Ole Miss Rebels. With the Ole Miss Rebels, the 16-ranked Ole Miss Rebels won 27-20 in a tightly contested game. They had 5 defensive sacks and 10 tackle for losses. This was like a defensive struggle that went down to the wire. I didn't really get to watch this game, man, but Ulysses Bentley had 13 carries for 94 yards rushing. He was averaging 7.2 yards a carry and a touchdown. Arkansas, you came very close. You don't have the best winning record in the world. You don't have a winning record. You came very close. Ole Miss, they lost to Alabama last week, man, and they're getting it back together against Arkansas. Yeah, man, I didn't even get to watch this game, but just looking at the scores, it looked like a very tight game. It looked like Arkansas and Ole Miss fought down to the wire, and I'm pretty sure that the fans were very excited to see their team win. All right, enough of that. Let's move on to these standings. So, out of the East, we got the #1 ranked team in the world still standing, of course, the #1 in the SEC East, the Georgia Bulldogs, and right behind them are their opponents they just played this week, the Kentucky Wildcats. And then behind them, we have the Florida Gators, then we have Mizzou, then we have Tennessee. Tennessee is #5 in the SEC East standings right now. Of course, they can still always make their way back up in the rankings when they play Florida. Well, they already played Florida and they lost. They got to play Kentucky. They got to play us. They got to play a couple teams that they can still possibly make the SEC championship, but I doubt it. All right, coming out of the West. It's a little bit convoluted right now, but we're going to get through it. So, Bama has already lost the game, but they still #1 out of the West. And right behind them, we have LSU. LSU have only lost 1 game, so that Bama-LSU matchup is still going to be looking very, very interesting. Then right behind them, we have Ole Miss. Ole Miss is #3 coming out of the West. They already lost to Bama. They can make it up when they play LSU and other teams, because right behind Ole Miss has Texas A&M, and they just lost to Alabama, so they're going to be sliding a little bit further down. And then you have Auburn. Auburn is #5. After taking a shellacking last week against, well, they put up some points. I'm not going to lie. They made the Georgia Bulldogs very, very nervous, but ultimately they did not win. And after losing that game, they have slowed down a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Auburn, the greatest rivalry in the South. Auburn. Ha! War damn Eagle, huh? Yeah, okay. So yes, these are the standings. Right now we have Georgia #1 out of the East and Bama #1 coming out of the West, followed by LSU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Auburn, man. This has been an interesting week of football. We only had 6 SEC games to talk about this week. A lot of them were SEC matchups. SEC teams play SEC teams. So that was a very interesting, fun thing to watch. So next week, we got a full slate of football games to talk about, man. Y'all like, subscribe, share, comment. Let me know what your team did this week, because my team did excellent. You know what I'm talking about? They did excellent. Y'all like, subscribe, share, comment. I see y'all when I see y'all, man. Peace.